They have since moved to another location, and the officer presence has died down a bit, but we are still seeing some officers continuing to walk around. We are also still seeing the TBI's van set up at this scene, as well as the Metro Police Command Center for officers to come and check back in as this investigation continues. The traffic here is still blocked off, so if you're trying to get past and you are not a first responder, not a detective, you cannot do so at this time. So please continue to remain away from this area around 20 Burton Hills right now, right across from the Burton Hills parking deck as well. That is where a lot of people were standing this morning as they were just anxiously waiting to hear what was happening. As we've been conveying the news, people are just in disbelief that this is happening. We've told several people on the scene this morning about what has happened, about the 7 people who have lost their lives today, and they simply cannot believe that this is the reality, that this is the reality of their neighborhoods. And the emotion has come across on first responders' faces as well as they've been walking around this morning. You can see that this takes a toll no matter who you are. If you are here reporting, if you're here responding, if you are just a neighborhood community member here, it's just absolutely heartbreaking. And we are thinking of all of those who are impacted and all of those who continue to work out here this morning to gather some more information about what could have led to this horrific incident.
Peyton Kennedy reporting from the campus where the shooting occurred there, arriving shortly after and now watching the investigation unfold behind her.
And what she tells us is that while the scene is secured and calm now, it is still an active scene. Investigators remain on the scene, as they will for some time. So the area is still being secured and sequestered, as it were. People are not being allowed near the area as investigators continue to do their job.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. Sorry about that. I was trying to kind of do a lot, and so there was the shooting today. Horrible shooting. I'm still trying to kind of catch up with what exactly is going on. So I keep hearing that 6 people were shot and killed, but then I also keep hearing 7. I don't know if that 7 is including the shooter, which they say the shooter is, I heard 28 or 29. Oh, a female shooter. Here we go. We're going to play some of like the updates and the pressers, but we're going to go over this article first. I think I saw even Biden talking about it earlier. What's up, man? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So we're doing 2 streams, by the way. We're doing this right now, which is like completely unexpected, obviously. And then also we have another stream coming up in about an hour where they're doing a press briefing. 7 includes the shooter. Okay. They're doing a press briefing on that whole situation where this family lied about this kid. They said he was with his father and he wasn't. The mother and the mother, stepfather, and his 6 siblings fled the country to Turkey, and this kid is missing. I believe 6-year-old, I think, Noel. 6 years old, Noel from Texas. So we'll talk about that after. That's going to be the next stream. But yeah, this horrible situation here. Let me get situated. Female shooter, 28, armed with 2 assault rifles and pistol, kills at least 6 in Nashville School massacre. 3 children and 3 adults are gunned down in a private Christian elementary. Wow. Yeah, the name of it is the Covenant School. And so the thing is, too, what I'm wondering is, is this somebody that went to that school or like worked there or had some sort of previous engagement? Or 6 people, including 3 children, are dead after a female shooter opened fire at a private school in Nashville. One of the articles that I was listening to had said, I think, don't quote me, but like I think that the shooting happened like at 10:13 or something this morning, and like by 10:28 or 27, something like that, the shooter was already down and like killed. So the police responded pretty fast. Could have been a lot worse. The incident took place at the Covenant School at elementary school on the outskirts of the city. Police say the shooter, who has not been named, killed 3 kids and 3 adults before being shot dead by police. Her identity has not been confirmed yet, but police said initially they believed she was a teenager. They later confirmed she was 28 years old. The small school is run by a church and does not employ a school resource officer. And I got sent a bunch of links to the story, so I just want to do this article first, and then we'll watch some videos and kind of talk about it. I did see earlier too when I was scanning, there's people like on the scene kind of talking, so I'm going to skim some of the videos too to see what some of the witness accounts say about it. Children hold hands as they leave the Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee on Monday after a female shooter opened fire, killing 3 kids and 3 staff members. That's crazy, man. Like, I just, to have it in you to actually target and kill children. Being told supposedly this 28-year-old female was a former student. Students evacuated from the Covenant School in Nashville. Father carries his son out. Okay, so shortly before 10:13, the woman entered the school through a side door and began opening fire on the second floor. Police arrived at the scene and heard the gunshots, and kudos to the police for going in there and taking care of shit. You know, because you think of the other school, was it the Texas shooting, Uvalde or whatever, right? Like the mess that shit was, and I never dug into that story, and I kind of just like watched a little bit here and there, and I seen like that footage that they released where police were just lollygagging. Like, it seemed like they were afraid or something. And so it seemed like more and more kids were being killed, and they're chilling and shit. It's fucking crazy. Sorry, I kind of started early with the curses. But yeah, kudos to the Nashville police for going in there and handling shit. Police arrived at the scene and heard gunshots coming from the second floor. By 10:27 a.m., she had been shot dead. She was armed with 2 assault rifles. Jeez. And a handgun. I mean, this person went there to do obviously some like major damage. And I wonder, you guys keep an eye out if they release her identity, because I'm kind of wondering what is the history with this woman. And I feel like it's not often that we hear of like female school shooters, right? Has there ever been one, or what's the history on female school shooters? I kind of want to look that up when I have a chance after the article and we're watching some videos. That's weird. And yeah. Parents have been told to collect their children from a nearby church, but no other information has been given. I know this is probably the worst day for everyone's lives. I can't tell you how sympathetic we are. A Metro Police officer was heard telling the parents as they waited at a nearby church for updates. Neighbors of the school watched as parents frantically rushed to the scene to find their children. Covenant. And this is, I believe, a Christian church. School. Church and school, maybe, I guess. That's crazy, dude. I mean, I don't even know anymore. Like, this is just, I don't even know what to say. Like, we've done this so many times. I watched a snippet of like Biden talking earlier, and you know, it's like the same thing every time. Everybody repeats the same thing. He's like, yeah, we got to do better, and like something about guns rights or gun whatever. It's like the same shit every time, and then nothing happens, and things just get worse, and we're just like in this circle of like nothing improving, like nothing changing, no real solutions. Like, what is the solution to this shit, right? And I don't even think he made an effort. To me, I mean, I saw like literally like 10 seconds, but it was almost like, yeah, it's another school shooting, and we're gonna try better. I mean, I'm sure it was more than that, but the snippet that I saw, I was like, damn, bro, like, I'll see if I can catch that and watch actually the full context. I just didn't have much time because I was kind of rushing. Let's take a look at this. They actually have video here.
Hey, we're seeing students coming out right now.
Ken in the chat says, 1979, Brenda Spencer, first recorded female school shooter. Wow.
But we can tell you that they are saying multiple people have died this morning, including that shooter who was taken down by Metro Police. And parents, if they are coming to this school, we're told they should go to 20 Burton Hills at this time. And it is still an active scene, so please keep your distance from this area. But understandably, if you are looking for your students at this school, they are saying to go to 20
Katrina,
Burton
how you
Hills.
doing?
Again, We do see some parents as well bringing food to.
Oh, that's the one. Kayla was telling me about this Brenda Spencer. Supposedly, so she shot with the school because she said she hated Mondays. Brenda Spencer, the 1979 Brenda Spencer. Let's see real quick. Take a look at a little bit of history. Man, this woman look crazy as. Oh, Jesus, that's her. Yeah. Let me see. Mondays. Let me see if that's a Monday thing. Mondays. Oh no. Let me show you guys. Oh Lord. Check this out. All right. We're going down a little bit of the rabbit hole. I won't shift too much, but just to kind of look a little bit back into history of this woman. Brenda Spencer says she shot people because I don't like Mondays. That was what was being said. 1979, Brenda Ann Spencer, a 16-year-old girl, fired a rifle from her house into the San Diego Elementary School across the street, killing 2 adults and injuring 8 children and a police officer. She was charged as an adult and pled guilty to 2 counts of murder and was sentenced in 1980, before I was even born, to 2 concurrent 25 years of life in prison. In October 2022, Reddit posts revisited the old claim about something Spencer was quoted as saying in the aftermath of the shooting. When asked why she did it, the post claims she replied, I just don't like Mondays. Based on contemporaneous accounts, Spencer likely did say those words, though the evidence indicates she said them before she was arrested, not after. Whatever, I guess. Let's see, hold on, is there an interview here?
To once again get back to the morning of the shooting.
It's real because I did it, and I take responsibility for doing, the crime itself. I remember up to a certain point clearly, and that was, I guess, when the drugs started to kick in, because all that morning I had been drinking and taking the pills with the whiskey and stuff. Past a certain point, it just all kind of phases out.
I can hear people out there saying that even though you were on drugs, you were cognizant because you took the rifle and you took aim and you shot those people.
Actually, I wasn't, though. I really wasn't. And in the transcripts, how it came up that the scope was set off and it wasn't firing right. The weapon itself wasn't even firing right. They had trouble aiming it, the police. And you couldn't aim with it because of how the scope was. It was knocked off.
So the implications of that are?
What I can figure out is basically I was just shooting at the commando types that I saw, and I didn't realize that there was people back there behind that. I saw the commando types, coming after me that I was hallucinating on, and from what I can figure out from the reports and all that, I was shooting at them, and it didn't really dawn on me or sink in that, hey, there's people back there, that are real people and stuff. So it's not that I was aiming or taking deliberate aim. It was that they got hit because they were behind what I was seeing.
In listening to you, I don't understand something. You were suicidal, you were on drugs, yet your father gave you a .22 for Christmas. Why did he do that?
On some Ethan Crumley shit. Not the same though, but you know what I mean though. But definitely not the same. But
to this day,
well, she was 16 though. She was 16. Ethan wasn't on drugs that we know of, but he had a lot of issues and was crying for help. And they're like, yeah, son, here's a gun, and we'll take you out to shoot it and teach you. And so this dad is like, yeah, here you go.
Because
what the hell?
The counselors had all told him that I was suicidal. If I had a child and the counselors had told me that, there's no way that I would have given them a rifle or a gun. And
so I wonder, in that case, would it be could you go for the parents, right? Because that's what they were trying to do with Ethan Crumley. There was that whole, I think we watched it, that hearing where the attorneys are going back and forth, just the attorneys and like 3 judges, I think, and it was like the whole discussion whether they could even proceed forward. Can they hold the parents responsible? And so I'm wondering in this case, I mean, I don't know, like it's tough, right? I mean, I don't know, man.
Or anything.
Brenda, what you're really remembered for is you saying, "I hate Mondays." Did you say, "I hate Mondays"?
I don't remember saying that. Right now we're trying to get some evidence that I did say that. I'd like to hear the tape. And it really influenced how people saw me and thought about, you know, the whole case. It's just, I'd like to know that I actually did say that if I did.
If you said that, it makes you sound cold-blooded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, on PCP, you're liable to say anything.
Brenda, what I have read is you have no remorse about all of this. But I sit here.
Is it Monday for real too? It is Monday, huh?
With remorse.
It is. Oh, sure.
Well, it's not something that you just do and don't think about. You think about it constantly. You know, you're the cause of people's dying, and I really don't want to cause them any more pain. I hope that they're all doing okay, that they're all, you know, that I haven't scarred them for life.
Wow, she's growing too.
They're able to deal with what happened to get on, you know, move on, and that I haven't done any permanent damage, you know, psychologically and stuff to them. You know, I hope that they're able to continue on and live a good life and have a good life.
Okay, that was interesting. I never heard of this story, and the chat was talking about it, and I guess it was on PCP. That's crazy. Teen sniper gets 25 years to life. They even have a snippet of the article. Because we were just, for the new people that joined, we were talking about this shooter that, for the Nashville shooting, that's 28, female, and I was kind of asking, like, I just feel like you don't really ever hear of like school shooters being a female, and somebody had mentioned in the chat about this, one of the first school shooters, I guess, in the U.S. way back in the day. So crazy. All right, so let me finish this video here. I'm gonna see what else we can pull up. I think they had like a presser earlier. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh yeah, this is the Twitter thing I wanted to show you guys. I'll show that next after the article. They did from police an update about almost an hour ago. So this is the school, and they had to evacuate the kids and stuff. So 7 dead total, including the shooter, 3 children, and 3 adults from what I'm hearing.
The rest of the ladies went all the way down and went to the right.
All right.
They got more pictures. Oh, and that's so odd to think about that shooter, the one we were looking back at, the whole Monday thing. I'm sure there's no correlation, but that would be crazy if this person said something, I don't know, you know. Covenant School, a private school in Nashville, Tennessee. If I look at deadly shooting, March 27, Monday. All right. So let me play. Okay, so this is one of the older ones, and then I have a newer one.
We do not know who she is at this juncture. We're trying to identify her. She does appear to be in her teens.
This is before they found out she was 28.
Again, with 2 assault-type rifles and at least 1 pistol.
And supposedly there's going to be another press update before 4 p.m. So we'll keep an eye out for that. And we got the next stream on the other story coming up soon, too. I got to figure out where that's going to be at.
No, I'm not.
Was there an SRO or an SSO working at the school?
No, this is a church that operates a private school. There was no Metro Police personnel assigned to that building at any time.
John, do you know if either of the two adults that were shot maybe confronted the gun?
You said two?
Yeah, the adults that were
No,
shot.
there are a total of three adults.
Three adults.
Three adults who have been fatally wounded.
Okay, and one of them being the shooter?
No.
No, okay, so three total. Do you
So
know
let me go over this again. You have a total of 6 victims, 3 students who are deceased, and 3 adult staff members from the school who are deceased. The shooter herself makes 7.
Do you know if one of the 3 adults maybe confronted her?
I do not.
Were the teachers there?
There is video from the school that we are viewing now to try to learn exactly how all of this happened.
Can you say where the victims were located? Were they in the hallway, in a classroom?
I cannot at this juncture. As you know, 5 of the 6 were transported. So we will get that information later in the day.
Did police engage with the shooter inside a classroom or in the hallway? Do we know the location?
It is an upper level part of the school that's kind of a lobby type area. It was not in a classroom per se. All right, we'll be back shortly with more detail. We'll tweet out, give you a 15-minute or so notice before the next one, okay? Thanks.
Okay, I want to show you this other clip too. I think we're done with this article. Let's see. Oh, they kind of show some of the inside. This is the inside here. Parents gather in the sanctuary of Woodmont Baptist Church in Nashville on Monday after shooter opened fire, killing 3 students. It's the map over here, the Covenant School Shooting incident. Oh, even the First Lady spoke. Okay. So yeah, let me show you this next thing here. Trying to kind of gather myself a little bit. This one here. I haven't watched this yet.
My heart and prayers go out to the families of the 6 people who were tragically injured. What I know at this point is at 10:13 today, our officers responded to a shots fired call to Covenant School. It's a church school. Officers immediately responded. A team of 5 immediately went in the school, went to where gunshots were being heard, and engaged the suspect. We have identified the suspect right now, tentatively a 28-year-old female white. We know the address of that person as well, and so we have some ongoing investigations as to that. We have 3 adult victims, and we have 3 children who have been identified and their families have been contacted. Right now, I will refrain from saying the ages, other than to say I was literally moved to tears to see this and the kids as they were being ushered out of the building. I want to say thanks to all of our partners, to the FBI, to the ATF, and other federal partners, to the THP, Tennessee Highway Patrol, the TBI, the District Attorney, and to the Fire Department, who all came together and seamlessly addressed this situation as quickly as possible. I've already gotten requests from the national media about a great response. We're still assessing that as well. But what I can say and what I've said before is that whenever I hope that we would never have this situation, that if we ever did, we would not wait. We would immediately go in and we would immediately engage the person perpetrating this horrible crime. And so that's all I can say. Right now we have David Roush, director of the TBI, who will come after me to address his portion. And then we have others that will say something as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Again, I want to echo what Chief has said in reference to the great support and the great teamwork that has been taking place here, and as well as sending our heartfelt prayers to the families, to this community of these victims. Now, I know there'll be people who want to criticize us for prayers, but that's the way we do that in the South, right? We believe it.
Isn't that crazy? What is there people that would criticize for prayers? I guess like nowadays it's like, yeah, I guess there's some people that are like, I don't know, against that shit or whatever. They get really, everything's offensive now. So I guess even praying is like I don't know, for some people, I guess. What's wrong with that?
In prayer, and we believe in the power of prayer, and so our prayers go out to these families. The role of the TBI in this investigation is we have been asked by General Funk to assist in the officer-involved portion of this incident. So the incident where the officers engaged the suspect, we are assisting the Metro investigation. And the reason we've got Metro doing the primary investigation is because it was a fluid scene. So there wasn't a single stop in the action. And so as they investigate the homicides, then we felt it was most appropriate for them to continue that investigation. But we will assist as in our role as an independent oversight on the officer-involved situation. And so that will be the role of TBI. We, too, want to thank all of our partners. It is special. We've had this conversation, unfortunately, too many times in Tennessee, and that is that you wish you wouldn't have to do these types of scenes. But when you do, you want to have the working relationships that we have in our law enforcement community here in Tennessee. It is amazing. And we've all come together as one and working very tirelessly, and we'll continue to work together to address this situation. It's a horrible, senseless tragedy, and we will be here working with our partners to get through it. And next, I'd like to introduce the District Attorney General for this area, Glenn Funk.
This is the ultimate crime when school children and caregivers are the victims of senseless gun violence. Can't say anything before we first express our concerns for the victims and their families and the extended number of victims that are traumatized by today's events. I came out on the scene today because our current operating procedure is that when an officer is involved in a shooting, that the TBI comes out, and I knew that this was a unique case, and I wanted to make sure that everything was handled appropriately. Director Roush was out here almost at the exact same time I got here, and Chief Drake had already been on the scene for a while. The three of us met and talked about how the investigation was going to be handled. We made a joint decision affirming what the two law enforcement leaders, how they wanted to proceed, which was that Metro was going to handle the bulk of this, but the TBI would participate in a capacity to continue with making sure that we have transparency and everything, and to make sure that any backup that MNPD needs in this continued investigation would be provided. Can't not stress enough how seamlessly that worked to have a conversation and a decision to be made quickly and appropriately as far as how the case was going to be handled from here. Hats off to Chief Drake and to Director Roush. I also want to thank Chief Swan and our federal partners as well. While I cannot comment about the ongoing nature of the investigation, I'm really impressed with the work that's being done by law enforcement.
Yes, good afternoon. First, let me just say, as everyone else, what a tragic day here in Nashville. So our hearts and our prayers do go out to all the family members and also the first responders that actually made this call. As always, the fire department and Office of Emergency Management, our job is to support. And we were here at the beginning and we'll be here until the end. We just ask that everyone, again, as it was said earlier about prayer, we ask for that. And the ongoing support that's needed from our standpoint is to give support in any area that's asked for on the scene. So again, we thank you, and from this point forward, we'll just continue on with our mission and try to bring some type of closure and resolution. Thank you.
I anticipate there will be another briefing at or before 4 o'clock. We will entertain 2 or 3 questions at this moment.
Okay, yeah, so we got another presser coming up. And so we can do that before the next live stream. The next live stream, too, if I have to, I can push it back a couple of minutes. I set it for 4:20. I can push it back to 4:30 because that's when I'm going to push that back to 4:30 because that's when the presser actually starts. So I'll give us 10 extra minutes so we can get the latest update. And the other thing, too, just, because my mind is all over the place all the time. I'm seeing all these updates. People are tagging me everywhere. Just stepping aside for a second, just the weird shit that's going around the world. I don't know how many trail derailments that I keep hearing about, all these weird situations. And I just got tagged on Twitter about this. Just stepping aside for a second. A train with no passengers in San Bernardino on Monday morning. A train carrying cargo and multiple cars derailed near Kelso and San Bernardino. Fire engines and hazardous materials team are responding. And what they said was that there was nobody inside this train. A runaway train from Baker heading towards Barstow, 80 miles an hour, with no one inside, 180 cars. Train has derailed 3 miles west of Kelso. So, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird with all these train stuff going on around the world. Just kind of, and I didn't follow the Ohio thing. That was kind of an interesting story with the chemicals thing. I don't even know if those people are still dealing with that. And with this situation, man, I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore when we cover these shootings with these, especially when it involves children, and I think about my daughter. I try not to think about it because it's like in my head, I try to almost detach myself to do the live stream. But if I sit and really think about it, it's just damn, how messed up that is. And what if it was your kid and you can't even send your kids to school? You can't even go to the movies. You can't really go to events without having to worry about some sort of weird, crazy-ish happening. And maybe you're even thinking my kid's in a private school. This is a private, maybe there's less. I don't even know what the statistics are. Is it usually public schools? Has there been private school shootings? Or have some of the bigger ones been private schools? Maybe you're thinking, it's a private school, it's church school. Well, why would something like that happen in a place like that? And it still does. And I mean, it still could have been way worse. For those parents that had their kids killed and the adults that were killed, that is the worst. But for the other parents that their kids were able to walk out, those cops, I'm glad they acted pretty fast, man. They acted pretty fast. I can't believe the Uvalde thing, which, again, I haven't really followed that story. But when you watch that video and these people are literally just chilling while kids are being shot and killed, I don't know what kind of operation that was. Embarrassing. I don't know if they were told to wait or what. Kids they're just chilling, waiting. I don't know, man. And who thinks that you got to be a really, I don't even know what the word is, how you would describe it. How do you describe a person that targets children to shoot them and kill them? I don't know how many various words, or you can just do the blanket term mental health and that's it. Just walk away and call it a day. Everything is just mental health. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Before these gentlemen have to go back to the scene to continue their work.
Chief, you identified, did you identify the shooter in this case yet?
Yes, we have identified the suspect. It's a 28-year-old female white, actually a Nashvilleian, or lives in the Nashville area. We are having ongoing investigation as it pertains to her at this time.
Located her place of where she lived? Do you have officers there?
We have. we have.
Was she wearing body armor?
Was she wearing body armor? I can't say that far into the investigation. I don't remember seeing it, but I can't say for certain if she had body armor on or not.
Does she have any connection to the church?
From my initial findings is that at one point she was a student at that school, but unsure what year, all of that. But
and that's all I'm hearing too, because I just saw Cherry in the chat asking. The killer, the shooter is dead. Police got on the scene. The shooting incident happened around 10:13, and then like by 10:27, police, something like at 10:20 something, 10:27, police had gotten in there, already shot the person dead. A female shooter, allegedly a former student that had come back. I just wonder why. Like, what could be the possibilities? What kind of like hatred or whatever do you harbor for years and years and years? What happened, and then you decide to come back? And were these people targeted? The adults? I can't imagine that the kids were like, were it just random shooting for the kids? Were the adults targeted?
But that's what I've been told so far.
Did she give any word on social media, or has their social media been examined at this point?
The investigations are still on at this point. Our federal partners, our state partners, we're all looking into that to see exactly. This is still fluid at the time, but we're looking at everything.
Did anybody pull the fire alarm? Do we know?
Don't remember a fire alarm going off. I was told there were kids that evacuated into a wood line. They had the presence of mind to do that and to go to a fire hall. Once we arrived on scene, we had everyone moved to First Baptist Church, Woodmont. And that way we could get parents and children reunited and then ultimately make the notification on the 3 kids.
Do we know yet if the side door she entered in was locked or not?
There was a door that was entered. All doors were locked to our understanding, and how exactly she got in at this point is still under investigation. There is a vehicle that was nearby that gave us clues as into who she was, and but as stated, that investigation is still ongoing.
Did the school have school shooter protocol?
They did have protocol. To my understanding, we had, unfortunately, 3 kids that were tragically hurt. It could have been far, far worse.
Okay, folks, we'll be back again before 4 o'clock. Okay? Thank you.
Okay. So we're already, it's almost 4. Let me push the next stream back to 4:30. I'd like to hear this next update. And then we'll give ourselves a little bit extra time, 30 minutes. I don't know where this next update is going to be. What I would like to do is pull up one of the live feeds from the news. Because I'm sure the news will have it.
Yeah, Haley, Bob, we are still across the street from Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, where we know 3 children were transported here, as well as 2 adults were transported just up the road to the adult hospital. All 5 of them came in with gunshot wounds, and of course, all 5 of them did not make it. Now, we're here just across the street. It's pretty quiet, but just about an hour ago, we did see bereaved family members coming out of the emergency room, embracing other family members, breaking down. You could hear the heartbreak, the pain, the emotion. There really isn't a word to describe what we saw and what we heard. And as we've been saying all day and morning long, we can only imagine the very tough conversations this medical staff had to have with family members today. But at this time, we are just across the street from Children's Vanderbilt emergency room. We do not have an update, and we are still waiting to see if maybe there'll be any press conference or if we'll get any new information on ages or any other details. But for now, Haley, Bob, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Kendall. Vanderbilt Medical Center, obviously the #1 trauma center in this city. It knows how to deal with these. It does drills, and you know that immediately that once the report came of an active shooter, they went into their protocol. And
This dog lover, thank you for the super chat, says, I don't agree with letting people hide behind mental health issues. You've got to have a certain amount of evil inside you to harm children. Yeah, that's a very, a tricky one. Lane, thank you for becoming a member. I totally feel mental health or not, you got to be held accountable. And then I think that with it being such a prevalent thing, you know that there's going to be people that are just taking advantage of that too, that are totally within their wherewithal, that are maybe just evil and whatever, and just, well, yeah, mental health. And so try to get, I don't know, send me to a mental institution for the rest of my life. Linda, thank you for the stars. And if you guys could hit like 2 on the stream, I'd appreciate that. It helps out the algorithm. I'm trying to look now to see if we get this press conference going on. Let's see if they're going to do it. I'll play this while I look for it.
Evacuating the Covenant School this morning, doing their protocol, their active shooter protocol, leaving the area, crossing the street, getting away from the building. Some went to a tree line and made their way to a fire hall. You can see them crossing Harding Place here, getting away from the school and the danger. You imagine just the absolute chaos of the scene, and yet the control of these teachers to make sure their kids follow the protocol and get out of there safely.
And the sad thing is that many students have already been prepared for something like this. Active shooter drills are now just almost as common as fire drills. We didn't grow up with that, but kids nowadays have. So this may have been something they had practiced. And as you said, teachers try to keep everyone calm in these situations, and they want the kids to just feel as normal as possible, even though that's very difficult.
Well, and all these kids, sadly, it's the part of the country and part of the time that we're living in. They've gone through these drills. They drill for active shooters. All schools do it.
So I have a feed here. Nashville School Shooting. I think they're on the outside of the... All right, I'll keep an eye on it. I don't know if they're setting up out there. I have a couple of feeds that I'm looking at to see.
Clock, it is the top of the hour. We want to reset, as it were, for folks who are just joining us, who may be just finding out about this terrible day here in Nashville, a deadly school shooting in Green Hills at the Covenant Presbyterian School that's in Burton Hills on Burton Hills Boulevard. We know that 7 people were killed, 3 children, students, and being cared for at that school, 3 adults who were working at that school, and the shooter was put down by a Metro Police officer. The shooter, a 28-year-old woman from Nashville, no name or other than that identification. They are searching her house now in the Belmont area, and we do know from Metro Police Chief John Drake, she has a connection to this school. We don't know exactly what that connection is.
All right, let me read some of the chat. N Dame says, I think we have an hour before the next presser. I think they're CST Central. No, I think they're Eastern. Let me double check. Oh, maybe you're right. Oh shit, you're right. I thought it was Eastern. It says so that's not till an hour from now. Oh damn. So we have time then, yeah. Oh, that sucks because I got the other stream at well, hopefully it starts before the other stream, but if not, then I'll have to dip and we'll figure it out. But the other stream, I'll wait until the other presser starts. Oh, well, we have Nashville people in here. Okay, Central Time. Hope said noob. Another hour. Okay, so I'm glad you guys told me though, so we cannot keep covering other stuff.
In Washington, we talked with him earlier. He also confirmed that the ATF and FBI have sent agents here to Nashville. They will be part of the investigation as Metro Police continues to lead that investigation.
And you're looking at pictures from, I believe this is the neighborhood where the shooter lived. They are, as Pierre Thomas said, combing through her entire life right now, her home, where she lived. This is in the Belmont area in Nashville, and this is a very active scene. We do have a News 2 crew that is working to get set up there, and hopefully we will get some information from them as soon as possible.
We also have crews throughout the area. We saw Andy Cordan with the traffic area outside of the Woodmont area and Harding Place. We have people at the Media Center. News 2's Mark Kelly is there. We're going to join him momentarily.
That's true, Heather. Heather said, I think the sad thing as a parent, we almost have no choice to send our kids to school every day, not knowing if they'll return. Things have got to change. Heartbreaking. I know some people that homeschool. I have a friend that homeschools her kid. And I don't blame her one bit. I think I know 2 or 3 people that do that. I couldn't do it, you know what I'm saying? But really kudos to the people that can. And I don't blame them because all this the stuff that's going on now.
From the school, the scene of the shooting. Mark.
And Haley,
Chili,
Bob,
what's up?
so we're expecting that update, as you just mentioned, within the next hour. Could be a little earlier than that. I do want to recap what we know so far if you're just joining in. So this is a school shooting happened this morning in the 10 o'clock hour at the Covenant School, which is directly behind this office building here. I'm right here in Green Hills on Hillsborough Pike. As soon as that call came in, about 10:15 this morning, it took less than 15 minutes later, and Metro Nashville police say that the shooter was dead. We understand at this point that the shooter went into the school on the first floor of the building, made her way to the second floor. We believe right now at this point, according to police, that there was not a shooting in a classroom necessarily, but what they described as more like a lobby area on that second floor. Law enforcement were able to neutralize the threat within less than 15 minutes today. And so when we had that update just a little while ago from all the law enforcement agencies at the state and the local level, they made that very clear that, you know, this is not something we ever want to happen in our community here in Nashville. But if it were to happen, they wanted this sort of response from the police. And that is what we saw here this morning. Of course, for the 3 children that lost their lives today and the families that are now broken from that news, that's very little comfort. We certainly understand that. And the 3 adults that lost their lives today as well. We're expecting in a little bit to get more information as the investigation continues, and we are hopeful that we can learn more about the suspect.
Okay, so New Orleans lady sent me this. Was it this one? Then I'm gonna take a look at another article. This one has a witness recounts what she heard at the school. Check this out. If it'll play, there we go.
Speaking with a witness earlier that lives in the Green Hills area, let's listen to what she had to say about this event this morning.
I'm Kathy Thorson.
C-A-T-H-Y?
K.
K-A-T-H-Y, and your last name?
Thoreson.
And you live in this beautiful community, and around 10:15, what's going on?
Well, we just came back from the restaurant about 10:25 outside visiting, and we heard many shots, just like really, really loud. Some were louder than the others. And we first thought it was maybe roofers. And but it was way too loud, so we all of a sudden saw the helicopter up in the air, and it's still there 3 hours later.
Describe the gunfire. I mean, how pronounced was it?
It was the first about 8 or 10 shots were very loud. I don't know what, very loud. And then there was some after that, like almost it was a different gun that weren't as loud, but they were gunshots. We knew then they weren't roofers.
We know a lot, but we don't know a lot. Right. Knowing what we do know, how do you feel, ma'am? What's going on inside of you right now?
I have 4 grandkids here, and I mean, I can be thankful, but I am so sad for these parents and kids. It's very tragic. It's 2 blocks from our house. It could happen at any school. It's very tragic. It really is.
You didn't know any families up there, perhaps?
I didn't know. Not that I know of at this point that their kids are going there.
You know, and I was up there and I saw this big Easter sign. It just seems like a jovial.
Thanks, Jen. I didn't know what that was. Roofers. So she's talking about a nail gun sound.
Celebratory, and all of a sudden the worst nightmare happens.
Yes. You can't even imagine that. You never think it's going to happen where you are. Yeah.
And I don't know. We don't know enough at this point. Who knows why? We don't know any of that.
Right.
Once again, ma'am, I appreciate your time. Is there just, once again, describe how you're feeling or what you thought? I've never seen so many police cars.
I haven't either. The sirens must have gone off for a half an hour. And we thought about dashing over there, but as soon as we heard all the sirens and saw the helicopter, we knew there were police there. So we've stayed out of the way. We've just observed from a distance.
What's the name of this your community?
Well, this is part of Burton Hills. Part of Burton. And it's.
How long have you lived here?
About 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Well, ma'am, I'm sorry you had to experience this. I think we're all a little bit sorry for that. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
I wish I could.
As you heard from her, I mean, it's just shocking information. She has no connection to the school, just lives in the neighborhood. To see this massive police response, first responder response, fire and ambulances responding, and wondering what is going on.
Well, I think, if you've been with us for the last couple hours, you heard part of that interview when it was live on the air. That was the first time we ran.
So I see one of the, oh my God, these people photoshopped. So I guess they're putting out, like, right now, currently, all these, like, fake names on the internet or whatever. And they put a picture out, some woman saying that this is the shooter. But I recognize this picture, I think, as some other shooter. It was actually a guy, but they, like, photoshopped the wig, I think, in makeup. I don't know. I'll put it in the admin chat. Or maybe in the, where should I put it? I don't want to show it on screen, but I'll put it in the public chat on Discord. You guys can join Discord too if you'd like to check it out. It's free. There's a members area, but it's free though. All right.
And back from the beginning, and
let's see. I wanted to, well, a couple of things. Here. Just a couple of little witness accounts I wanted to skim a little bit.
For the school, congregation, and Nashville community. Want to go out to more people talking about this in the community right here on Live Now from Fox.
Capitol, you go to state capitol and then you testify. So you want to have these weak gun laws that the governor continue to pass. It's ridiculous. And then you get a call today. I got a call earlier today that my son's school's on lockdown. So of course, it triggers something in you.
What school does your son go to?
Hillsborough High School.
When you got that call, what went through your head? You have your son, as you said.
Yeah, it's like all over again. All over again. I'm shaking. I don't even know how I made it down here. Because you don't know what's going on.
What do you think needs to happen? You think this could have been prevented?
I think so. I honestly do. At least let us try. Don't pass laws that are not protecting our children. We're failing our children.
How is your son doing? Who goes to Hillsborough High School? How is he holding up?
He is nervous. I mean, he can't get in or out of the school, so.
Are you keeping up with him by texting him?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I just went by the school just to make sure. And he's like, Mom, please don't come over here. There's an active shooter. You don't know, whatever. But how could I not worry?
So what are they telling parents right now just to stay?
Yeah, that they're on lockdown. They're still on lockdown. They're, waiting for, Metro to tell them whatever to do.
And, we did get confirmation that right now at least 3 children have died. What do you make of that news?
It's sad. It's very sad because I know what those parents are feeling. When you get that call that your child didn't make it or they were one of the victims of a mass shooting, it's the worst feeling ever. It's the most devastating, losing your child. It's devastating. No parent should have to go through this.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to turn the mic off.
In a community on edge right now, as you can see the reporter there hugging that person there, talking to the news about the community that is heartbroken right now and still just learning of the news, just like we all are right here on Live Now from Fox. We will continue to bring you these live images as long as we have them. That's what we do here on Live Now from Fox. Try to bring in as
usually that gives me a little thing. Oh, here we go.
It's terrible.
Right here?
Yeah, I live here at Georgetown 5.5 years.
So can you just kind of describe to us what you heard, saw?
Yeah, so I was out back and I just noticed, I'm used to hearing sirens because there's a fire department around the corner, but it's just too many going by. And then I walked out into our little green space and just saw zooming by at the front entrance. I walked out here to go see what's going on, and literally like 20 to 60 cop cars just going by. And then I saw one helicopter hovering above that church up the hill, Presbyterian, and I was just like, this can't be good. It's going to be where it's worse. It's not like an accident or fire. And then came out here, word started coming out about like what's going on, and just seeing the parents over there and coming up and breaking down, it was a lot. So you just don't think this happens in your area, and I just feel so badly for those people that were injured, and I just really hope that I'm thankful that the situation.
At the other scenes that we've had, I can remember
situation, and I hate that this happened in our town. Something needs to be done about it.
Yeah, I know it's hard, can you describe like just the looks that you saw on the parents' faces?
Yeah, there's one couple running up the hill, and some cop on a motorcycle stopped them, and then the woman, I'm assuming the mother, just doubled over and just hysterics and crying, and they started running off down the hill, got in a random car and took off down Hillsborough Pike. So I don't know what happened there, and then people just walking up the hill, and it's a tough hill to climb, just running out of breath, and then just crying and having to slow down because they can't keep running, but they just kept going. It's just really heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's something you never thought you'd probably see.
No, never in a million years thought that would be this close to me, this close to home. So.
Yeah. What message would you like to send to, I guess, the families and the school that's so close to you right here?
We're praying for you. Your city loves you, and we will rally and give you the support that you need. And I'm so sorry. I'll never know what you're going through, but I just pray that their needs are met and that people are there to help them out in this horrible, horrible, dark time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for speaking with us. I really appreciate it.
We continue to bring you.
Let me check out this people on scene right now.
Before you go any further, I found that so interesting.
And for the parents and family who were in that sanctuary, they had a licensed professional counselor come to the microphone and talk to the parents who are still waiting, first of all, to be reunited with their child. So that's enough, right?
Still in there.
To figure out, hey, in the moment right now, this is what you're going to say. And this is what your students know. They know there was a bad guy, the good guys came, and that bad guy is now taken care of. And that's kind of what the route that they were encouraging parents to take in the conversations. That's what the teachers were telling the students. And so seeing some of them getting off the school bus, holding hands, a lot of them, it looked like, just carefree.
Another day. Right.
And that's for the best, obviously. Right. But we're praying and thinking of these parents moving forward, right, who have been reunified with their kids, but still now have to navigate for a long time.
Yeah, how do you talk to your kids about that?
The work to heal begins now, right? This is the beginning of all of that. It'll be interesting to hear, too, because the first responders also have to debrief. They're doing all of this work right now. The Red Cross, the people with the Red Cross that were inside, just doing coloring pages. Yes. We saw the coloring pages in their hands as they were walking out. Yeah, it's a whole thing to try to stabilize the situation. But once everything is stabilized, there's a lot of work that even the adults have to do, right? The first responders, the SWAT officers who had to go in, the 5-person team from Metro Police who had to go in and take down this 28-year-old woman who was firing shots from 2 assault rifles and 1 handgun in a school. So there's a lot that has to happen now. Just because the situation has been now resolved, if you will, it doesn't mean that things are done. I wonder, I know you've been texting back and forth with this family. Did they say anything about how they're doing now in terms of their emotional state?
I will say one of the families, they said that, they're going to need almost a lot more counseling and therapy moving forward than their kids. Yeah. I don't know much other than outside of I got a selfie when one of the mothers was reunited with her 3 kids. There's 2 families in there with 3 kids each that I knew. No. Outside of that, I haven't heard, and I know they're at home now, or I hope. I speculate that they're holding their children tight.
Yeah.
And just having to make that call, Lauren, when I heard the news that this was happening, I saw Covenant School. I immediately called those families, and
they didn't even know, right? You were telling them.
I was the one that alerted one of the families to this, and to hear that voice on the other end of the phone,
you as a parent yourself know. That's the call you don't want to get.
No,
right?
Never. Because how do you even handle that, right? And it'll be interesting because on this other side of this, like, people across this city are now going to have these conversations at the dinner table, or maybe when they put their kids to bed tonight. Hey, what would we have done, and what do we need to do to better prepare our kids? You'll see whole school districts begin to have these conversations moving forward.
And Laura, not just across the city, but we've all been getting texts from people across the country.
Oh, it's the same lady.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you guys okay? What's your coverage? How are things going? Yes,
Right.
totally.
Right. And so you hate to say just another added to the list, because once you become that city, it's concrete for you. And it's, as you were saying earlier, as newscasters, it's our job to report objective information, but sometimes it's just impossible to separate that humanity.
Right.
And so this information that is coming in, of course, we're going to keep you updated. And as we learn more, I know a lot of people are going to be looking to find out, and as we are waiting to hear why. What's the motive here?
Right. Well, and we know that there are investigations happening right now to try to get more information on that. Our Jeremy Finley is working very hard on that right now. We're hopeful that we have some more information for you as we go through the afternoon hours. For now, we're going to send it back to you guys in the studio. We'll stay here until the story ends at this location.
Lauren and Lydia, thank you so much for your insight. As parents, I have to ask you, when do we have to stop explaining things to our children?
Never.
You look at Uvalde, when does it stop?
And it's tough. You are in an older bracket where the questions are more informed and more detailed. I have the luxury of having smaller children who maybe don't ask those questions that are more difficult to answer, but all day you've probably been talking about this with your friends and your family. You've probably been talking about it with your friends and your family.
Yeah.
When is this going to stop, and how do we protect our kids? That is our number one job as parents. And to not feel that they're protected at school or be scared that something like this could happen, I don't know what the answer is.
A lot of us are trying to figure out that answer right now. Well, the Community Foundation is tweeting out their heartbreak over today's shooting, calling it horrific and senseless. They're also encouraging folks to donate to the Covenant Fund at the Covenant School to help support those directly impacted by today's tragedy.
And this has been making national news all day. The president, the first lady have been commenting about the situation unfolding here in Nashville during various speaking engagements that they've been at today. All eyes are on this situation, and all hearts are with these families.
Yeah, we've heard from Chief Drake. We've heard tweets from the mayor. We've heard from some of our lawmakers in Washington expressing their heartfelt condolences about the families that have been victims, that have fallen victim to this 28-year-old gunman who entered the Covenant School at 10:13 and took 6 lives.
So one of the key pieces to this investigation, from what we've heard from police, is that they're looking at video, security video that was inside of the school to help them kind of piece together how the shooter gained access. We know she went in through a side door, but beyond that, details are scarce. So how she was able to make access to this building, what the response looked like from...
Just a random press conference that popped up, something completely unrelated. It says, officials provide update on explosion at chocolate factory in Philadelphia. Holy moly, I haven't even heard of that. We're still waiting for the press conference. I don't know when it's going to happen. They said before 4. Well, actually, really 5 since they're Central, 5 Eastern.
Police Chief Wayne Hoban, who's going to read a statement regarding the fire at R.M. Palmer Company.
Thank you. Can you spell your name? Thank you. Yes, my name is Wayne, W-A-Y-N-E, Holden, H-O-L, B as in Bravo, E-N.
I'm just gonna.
Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to honor the memory of the victims of this tragic event with a moment of silence. Thank you. On Friday, March 24th, a devastating explosion shook the West Reading community. Since then, rescue workers have worked tirelessly to search for survivors and ensure the safety of the surrounding area. 7 individuals died, several were injured, and some community members were left homeless due to the explosion. The search and rescue efforts following the building explosion at the R.M. Palmer building have officially concluded. Now that all unaccounted for individuals have been recovered, the focus shifts on the daunting task of cleaning up the aftermath. The cleanup process has begun, which is expected to be difficult and a difficult and lengthy process. It will involve the removal of debris, clearing the area, and making sure that buildings are safe to occupy. The cause and origin of the explosion is still under investigation by the Pennsylvania State Police Troop L Fire Marshal. Now that we are closely working with emergency response teams, environmental experts, and construction professionals to ensure that the cleanup is done safely, efficiently, and with minimal impact on the surrounding community. We urge the public to be patient during this time, as the area will continue to be closed off until cleanup is complete. We also ask that you continue to keep the families affected by this tragedy in your thoughts and prayers, and hope that the first responders' diligent efforts these past few days have helped bring closure to all those affected by this tragedy. We are committed to keeping the community informed as we work towards rebuilding and restoring the area. We appreciate your cooperation, support during this difficult time. Thank you. I'll now have the mayor come up and give her statement.
Thank you. Hi, Samantha Kaig. As Chief Holben said, we were able to account for the bodies.
All right, I was just kind of curious. I haven't heard of that. So this is right now. This is the shooter's house. Well, what happened? I just had it for a second. There we go. This right here, they're outside the shooter's house.
Woman needed to go into her house and she had to be escorted onto the street. But again, witnesses are describing that the door was blown open using some kind of explosive and have now entered. We haven't seen anything else. Right now, I'm watching as we're talking. The police and several other, looks like undercover detectives and officers are standing in front of the house having a conversation. But we're waiting to get any type of confirmation from Metro Police if there is any type of connection. Obviously, like we said, the FBI is out here, and what witnesses have described is that officers used explosive devices to get into this home. Again, public records do show that a family owns this home, but we are hesitant to give any more information about that till we make some kind of confirmation. But this is another part of this developing story, again, not that far from the Covenant School. So I was having some audio problems hearing you before, but as of now, I'm going to throw you back into the studio.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy Finley reporting live for us, our chief investigator, continuing to work to learn more about what may be happening there and if it's connected to the deadly school shooting that we've been covering all day since about 10 o'clock this morning.
And we know close to 4 o'clock, we are expected to have another press conference from Metro Nashville Police about what they have learned since our last press conference. And what we've known since the last press conference, that it was a 28-year-old female who did the shooting in this incident.
Right, and a former student of the school where the shooting took place there at the Covenant School, which is in the Green Hills neighborhood near Burton Hills. And so, you know, the big question that so many people have is why? You know, what could possibly be a motivation for this? And that's what we believe that police are actively trying to answer now.
A lot of questions still remain.
Okay, so we're going to wait for this. I decided that we're going to wait till we get this last presser. Because I don't know that it's the last presser, but the next one that's coming up, I want to get that one before we move on to Noel for a couple of reasons. Because I don't know how long or short the Noel thing is going to be. And we can always just play it after. I want to get the one last update for now before we move on to the Noel. So that should be in less than 30 minutes. So I'm going to keep an eye out for the presser. Katrina, thank you for the 26-month membership. You might be one of the longest members I have. Katrina says the laws need to change. Quit giving out the name of the shooter. Too many copycats who want to become famous. Let's talk about the poor victims. Let's hear this person.
Process trauma. I mean, that's a big question because the whole city is grieving today. So, I mean, take that broad question and run with it, Tanya. How do we process trauma after a day like today?
You definitely reach out. you don't want to sit with yourself. You don't want to say, it's fine, it's okay, you know, that feigned kind of positivity. You want to really talk to people. Reach out, go to supports and support groups, tell your story. Don't hold your story, don't hide your story, don't recoil because of what it makes you feel, fear, anxiety, nervousness. Go beyond those feelings and talk. Definitely talk.
I feel like some people at home might experience this today and feel real sadness, and then on one hand try to diminish those feelings because it's like, well, I wasn't a victim, why do I feel this way? But the truth is, we all, when one person suffers, we all suffer and we all feel it. Would you say that people should be doing that too, talking around, even if they weren't a victim in the specific case?
Yeah, absolutely. We are experiencing in real time what it's like to kind of associate ourselves with mortality. And if we were talking about a more serious, maybe combat situation, it would make perfect sense. But I guess because of how we're experiencing it now, we're not realizing the seriousness of it. So definitely take into account the real information that we are engaging, understand the seriousness.
Yeah, I wonder why they took an explosion to the door. Matt was saying explosive to the door. That's what they said. They blew the door open to the shooter's house.
Serious enough to talk to someone.
I like how you say that because I know so often people hold emotion in their bodies, right? And we don't think of it that way, but if you don't talk it out, if you don't allow it to release, if you don't even allow tears, right? Because tears are the release of cortisol. If you don't allow that, then all of that gets stuck in there, and we're not then at that point processing the trauma.
That's right. Definitely talk, definitely reach out.
Are tears really the release of cortisol?
Platforms.
I mean, I
where
guess
you can
stress,
just
but does it
listen, hear webinars, anything to give you information about how to process trauma, because this is a traumatic situation.
Any particular advice you would give to parents right now, maybe with children old enough to know what happened? How do we handle that kind of conversation with our children?
We definitely want to pay attention to our kids. We may not know what the signs of trauma is, but pay attention to anything that's different. Behavior patterns, anger, outbursts they might have. Pay attention to bedtime. Are they different at bedtime? Are they different when it's time to leave the house? Are they clinging? You know, things like that. That's kind of an indicator that they're not quite the same as they used to be before. Give them extra support. When they go to bed at night, if you used to give them a kiss and read them a book, give them a kiss, read them a book, and have a hug and lay with them for about 30 minutes, right?
Make them feel safe.
Absolutely. Safe, secure, any kind of way we can. Help them to tell their story. Help them to talk about what they've experienced. We don't want them to associate this with shutting down.
And before I let you go, I do want to ask you this, because we oftentimes will forget about first responders. First responders see so much, down to the Red Cross workers who are inside helping kids with their coloring pages, but certainly the police officers, the firefighters who had to go into that school and be the first ones on the scene to see all that they were dealing with. How does someone like that process all that they've seen after a traumatic event like this?
You definitely want to unpack. You definitely want to unpack. I don't care how versed you are in your expertise or in your field. I don't care how long you've been doing the work that you do. You always want to unpack. Even if you've acquired a skill to compartmentalize and still do what you need to do, still unpack. Still take time to sit in front of someone that can appreciate that conversation. I call that sacred information. Be very intentional about who you have those conversations with, and unpack, unpack, unpack. You can never do too much of that.
Well,
Tanya Dixon, licensed professional counselor, thank you so much for your time. Tanya has a significant background in severe and persistent mental illness, and then also with work with combat veterans and athletes as well. Appreciate your expertise on a day like this, when I think so many people in this city right now are going, well, what now? What now? How do I move on from this? So thank you so much for your time today. Marius and Amanda, it's interesting to hear President Biden say we need to take mental health seriously on a day like this, and then to hear this kind of conversation with someone who is so well versed in this. And for those of us who don't day in and day out deal with trauma, we don't necessarily even know what muscles to flex on something like this. And so I've been just so grateful that there have been so many people turning a spotlight onto this today specifically, because it's a day that I think Nashville as a whole will require collective healing.
Especially as we continue on this journey, Lauren, people who maybe had been healthy mentally before may not be in the coming days. So that's certainly going to be a difficult path to walk.
Yeah, Dr. Tanya's message was so important, especially for parents to, as they're dealing with their children who's asking these tough questions. Kids are going to go to school and they're going to talk about it. They need to know the truth. They don't need to know, made up stories. They need to know the truth, and that's how you heal.
Right, and that's how you learn to cope as well. Carly Gordon has been hearing from some neighboring schools about how children there are hearing this news and then also processing this news.
That's right. I just talked to two young ladies who attend Brentwood Academy, which apparently has ties to this school because a lot of students end up going to Brentwood Academy after leaving the school. And they say that they are absolutely rattled by what happened. Brentwood police actually ended up showing up to their school. They got a warning announcement, they say, at around second period saying, listen, something has happened, but students weren't allowed to be on their phones. And they were just told that they were preparing to potentially go on lockdown. And then we're told that students eventually ended up getting on their phones anyway. That's when the rumors started and students started talking about who potentially could have been impacted here. Many started panicking because we're told some students have siblings that go to that school. We know that they have canceled at Brentwood Academy all of their sports and events for the evening. Ensworth has done the same. So we're not just talking about one school, but several schools across the mid-state that.
The ages of the victims haven't been released. So far, they say 7 deceased. That's including the shooter, which is a 28-year-old female. Right now they're breaking into this woman's home and I guess getting whatever information they can get. They literally just said they blew the door open. Which I wonder why, I don't know, why blow it open? Can they just kick it open or like use that little ramming thing? I don't know. Maybe there's something they're trying to be cautious about. Not sure. 5 p.m. Eastern school shooting update. Okay. According to Live Fox, 5 p.m. Eastern. So we're watching.
In there doing? What are the next steps as we look through and try to piece this all together to figure out what happened?
Okay, that's them talking about the chocolate factory. Okay, what a bizarre thing. Chocolate factory blowing up, killing, what'd they say, 7 people? Okay, I'm trying to see if we can get some curious. I mean, I know there's not much coming out, and we're going to have to update this after, I guess. But curious to know this woman's history, the shooter.
Midtown is on a school shooting. 4th of multiple victims down. We're monitoring Metro radio traffic at this time, unknown which school or where they're transporting, but it sounds like there's multiple victims down inside the school. Shooter is down now as well.
Yeah, those were the calls that were received at 10:13 when that shooter entered the school at the Covenant School. We know that 3 children were taken in that, and as well as 3 staff members that work there as well.
And we're learning a little bit more about the shooter, a 28-year-old woman who police say was at one point a student at the Covenant School there. We've also learned throughout the course of the day a little bit more about what happened when police made entry. So Metro Police said that they had a team of 5 officers who immediately went into the school. They heard the gunfire and they went straight towards the gunfire. They didn't run away from it. They didn't back off. They went straight towards the danger, according to their spokesperson, Don Aaron. And then 2 of the officers became engaged with the shooter and fired shots.
Yeah, right now you're looking at a picture of a home on 3005 Brightwood Avenue. We know there is a very large police presence there. We're trying to figure out if there is any connection with this address and what happened at Covenant today.
And that's right by Belmont Boulevard, just to give you some perspective on where exactly that's unfolding. And Jeremy Finley, our chief investigator, is on the scene telling us that the FBI is there. They have undercover agents. So it's a pretty hefty police response. And we do know who owns the property, but we have withheld that information until we can get clarity about how and if that situation is connected to the shooting at the Covenant School, but he was talking to witnesses who said, we just kept hearing explosions, like flash bombs, maybe 3 of them, and then they come outside and the front door has been blown open.
Yeah, a lot going on in that neighborhood right now. But once again, we are asking questions. We are there. We have crews live on scene to try to figure out if there is any connection with what happened at Covenant School today. And once we find that information out, we're going to let you know. We know Metro Police have told us that they were looking to do another press conference close to 4 o'clock or at 4 o'clock. So we are standing by for that as well.
Yeah, we're hoping to get more information. They've been pretty steady with keeping us up to date throughout the day, so we anticipate that we should learn some more. But I mean, look at this. This was from earlier in the day, immediately after the shooting, and you can see parents in their work clothes. They basically dropped everying that they were doing, of course, to get their kids and make sure that their kids were okay. It just, the gravity of this situation.
Did they release her name? Let me
especially
confirm that
when
and
you
see. You got it? Okay, bring it to me. Let me see. Somebody's saying that NBC released the name. Let's find out. As far as so they're saying it's a female shooter, 28 years old, white. For the people that need to know that, I guess. They're saying in the chat, people are saying transgender. I haven't heard anything about that. Let me see if it's true though about the name being released. Let's see. Nashville. Identity. Let's see. I don't see it yet. I'll keep looking. I'll play this.
All right, we are getting some breaking news just coming into our newsroom. We have learned that NBC is going forward and confirming the name of the shooter, the 28-year-old woman who opened fire at the Covenant School this morning, as Audrey Hale.
Yes, we know that name, once again, as you just said, Audrey Hale. Right now, we are asking questions to find out more about Audrey Hale, what her motive could have been, what connection she may have had to Covenant School as well.
Well, I think this brings us back to the original live shot that we had from Jeremy Finley, our chief investigator. Guys in the booth, are we able to go to Jeremy now and talk a little bit more with him? Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to get to him, because now that we're confirming the name of this shooter, we're getting closer to piecing together how some of today's events may be connected.
And whether that house on 3005 may be connected to the shooter whose name is Audrey Hale, that NBC News has just confirmed to say they went with that. That is the name of the shooter in this case.
Yeah, still unclear what the possible motive could be in this situation, but police inching their way closer to more of a well-rounded picture about why or how this unfolded or the connection. Obviously, we're starting in the very beginning. She is a former student, and that's kind of as far as we've gotten. But again, in about 20 minutes, maybe even earlier, we do hope to hear from Metro Police with an update and on their investigation as it continues.
Yeah, we want to reset for you and let you know how this all played out. Police got the initial call at 10:13 this morning that there was an active aggressor situation at Covenant School. We know that they came to the scene as quickly as they could. We know that 5 police officers entered the school. 2 of those officers engaged the shooter. Now that we know 28-year-old Audrey Hale, we know that she was pronounced dead on the scene at 10:27.
So there is rumors.
Looking at video from earlier today of buses
there is rumors
taking students.
Supposedly that this person. See, I don't want to. Let me see. Hold on. I don't want to put this on the screen yet. Is this the confirmed? Is somebody named Audrey Hale? This is. I don't know if this is true though. So I want to wait a little bit more before I even put anybody's face. But there's rumors circulating on Twitter that the person is trans. I don't know. Allegedly identified the Nashville shooter is Audrey Hale. Hello?
Responders, vehicles escorting those buses to the reunification site as well.
Those are things that as a parent you don't ever want to see. You never want to see a police officer escorting children out of a school with a rifle.
You just your heart breaks for every single family touched by this.
Yeah, we know that the shooter had 2 rifles as well as a handgun. Once again, NBC News is reporting that the shooter's name is Audrey Hale. We are trying to find out any shred of information we can about Audrey Hale. We know that she was 28 years old. We also know that she was a possible student at Covenant at one time.
Yeah, at one time, and trying to understand, what the more relevant or.
So yeah, there's rumors, but like again, I'd like to wait. You know what I'm saying? We can get more confirmation. Let me see. And so they pulled up what they did was they pulled up LinkedIn, and somebody named Audrey Hale. Jeez, everybody's just calling me, blowing me up. Hello. I'm gonna handle that after. Okay, bye. Okay. So Audrey Hale, LinkedIn, and then it says that this person does go to Nashville, Tennessee. Illustrator, graphic designer, identifies as he, him. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. If that turns out to be true, that'd be an interesting twist as far as I don't know if I've ever heard of a trans shooter. That might be something new. I don't know if there's any kind of history on it. Let's see what else. I mean, a lot of people are talking about it. Let's see. Unconfirmed reports. Yeah, identifies. So this one I'll put. So let me see. I think this is an official Twitter. Well, kind of. This is somebody with a big following. So I'll share. This is interesting. This is crazy, though. I don't know, man. Let me send this to myself, and then maybe we can look at it. Yeah, I think it's just interesting from that perspective, I guess, because I've never heard of that before. But I say that, and I also say that there's no reason to start going in on trans people or anything like that, because there's all types of killers from every race, every sexual orientation, or whatever. But I also don't think it's wrong that you can't talk about it. It is interesting because I've never heard of that before. And especially that they were a former student, it makes me wonder more. Oh, and they're finding this is weird. This is weird. And I almost want to wait for the presser. I don't even think they'll mention it right now in the news, but this is the info that's flying around. I just want to wait a little bit more.
And babysat them, and my best friend and their children now go to that school, so I was kind of a part of getting them to the school, and I got the call this morning. I mean, your phone just starts going off from everybody.
Yeah.
Just
what made you want to come here?
I don't know. I mean, my buddies would do the same for me, and they have. That you just go, it's funny because I don't even have my wallet. I have my cell phone, but I just grabbed, and I can't. And they said the fire station at first was where everybody was, and then I got messaged it was come to this church, and I was probably one of the first cars in the parking lot, and it was
chaos.
It was unimaginable.
Yeah. So you go in. Were you there before your friends even were inside?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they obviously the parents would go to the school first, and then they was kind of gathering here, but everybody was walking in and trying to find out about their children, which is
no one should deal with that, right?
I'm not even a parent, and I couldn't imagine. And there was somewhere they heard about 2 of their kids and one of the other kids they haven't heard from. And there was so much going around, so many people saying so many different things, and a lot of them were like, you didn't want to I found out pretty early that my best friends and their children were okay, and you didn't really want to really be celebratory, or you didn't want to be like, oh, you just sigh of relief a little bit, but you didn't want to kind of brag or because there was people in there that were. One of my friends had found out about 2 of their kids, but not the third, and she goes and she got a text that said her child's name and safe. But she she was like, is that a question? Or is that like, are they safe, or are you asking me if they're safe? And then it was like they heard I hear over a text that your son is good, and it was just like she FaceTimed. One of the teachers was in the bus or something, and she was FaceTiming with parents because it was like, and you could see my friend's daughter like through a window of a school bus, and she was kind of like. And I was like, I think that's her. I'm pretty sure, but everybody, it was, and then.
Let me ask you this. When you think about today, because
all right, so the whole situation, all right, it's circulating so much that like, let's talk about it a little bit, I guess, because it's like everywhere, and there's like, I think even, let's see here. I want to show this one first. So, I don't even know what kind of news channel is this, though. The hell is a guy on news? Oh, it's her own thing, I guess. So, I mean, they're saying this again. I'm just going to say this unconfirmed. A lot of people saying this is the person. Or maybe let me even find. I want to find even more confirmation, even though it's unconfirmed. Let me type in this lady's name. They're saying it. Cinema posted it too. This is pretty wild, dude. Everybody's posting it. Okay. This is freaking odd. All right, so let's show want to show this one. So they're saying that this is unconfirmed shooter. Like the unconfirmed, this person, Audrey Hale. I know the name of the 28-year-old. Yeah, somebody sent me on Twitter. They confirmed the address, and that address is the person's name. But now they've confirmed this person's name in the news, so we know at least the name is confirmed. I haven't seen the media release like an official picture, but they pulled up a LinkedIn from somebody in Nashville named Audrey Hale, and the thing here, he, him. So it's biological male that. Sorry. Oh God, I fucked that up already. It's biological female that identifies as he, him, apparently. And then the thing that kind of got me is when I saw this picture. So I guess they have a website, a sample of art from Audrey Hill's website. Working no pay. Wendy, I'm home. Red rum. Hi, I'm Audrey Hill. I'm a freelance illustrator, graphic designer who creates logos for businesses. I primarily work with clients that desire a brand personality. I provide illustrations and designs that will help tell a company's story. My illustrations will bring whimsical and light-hearted feel. Aside from the art, I enjoy binging on video games, watching movies, and playing sports. There is a childlike part about me that loves to run to the playground. Animals are my second passion. I also enjoy spending time with my 2 cats. It's also what I read too, that Instagram has now been deleted. That's what I read. Another alleged photo. People are already claiming that the him was photoshopped, so he's showing an actual video of the thing profile. A lot of these social media profiles too, like once there's somebody like confirmed killer or whatever, they usually go and delete and scrub the Facebook or social media, LinkedIn. So it's good to kind of capture the social media before it's taken down. I want to know too, it's almost 5 o'clock. And where is this press conference? Should be coming up now.
Our chief investigator, he is live again on Brightwood Avenue near the scene of a home that appears to be under investigation. Jeremy, what can you tell us? What are you learning in the last few minutes here?
Sure. So this is probably going to become one of the most important parts of this story this afternoon. We are live here on Brightwood Avenue. This road is blocked off. It's on 12 South. I'm going to swing over if we can and show you what's happening right now. So right now, members of the FBI, Metro Police, their SWAT team are all gathered in front of this house, 3005 Brightwood Avenue. According to public records, that is a home that is owned by the Hale family. According to NBC News is now citing multiple sources saying that the shooter is Audrey Hale. When you look at public records, Audrey Hale is noted as the daughter of the family who lives at this home, or at least owns this home. Here's what we understand, and again, I'm going to show you some video in just a moment of how this occurred. But what people in this area are saying is about 1:30 this afternoon, they heard a loud bang. And now I want to show you the video and let you listen to it as well about what they heard. Take a look.
Well, that's when they...
All right, that was it.
Blew
That was
the door
it.
open?
You could hear it there. That boom is what people living on this street heard. They obviously came outside, and then we are told it was followed by 2 other explosions, sounding a little bit like perhaps a grenade going off or a soft grenade, something. And if you look at the front door of the house, it's a little hard to tell from our angle, but the front door of this house was blown in. Obviously, we now know that this house belongs to, according to public records, to the family by the name of the last name Hale. And again, NBC News, citing multiple law enforcement sources, are citing that the shooter is Audrey Hale. And according to public records, she lives at this home with her parents. Her parents own this home. We are told is that when people came out to hear that loud sound, they saw SWAT team members running in and then exiting with a substantial amount of smoke coming out. We have been speaking to people here on the scene, including a young man by the name of Bowen. Bowen lives right close, and you can listen in really quickly as to what he had to say about what he heard.
I just hear a loud boom, and I'm like, what was that? And I was just like, gotta go see that. And then I heard another one, and I was like, okay, I gotta go check this out just to see what was going on, what was going on. Yeah.
So what did you see when you walked out on the street?
So the first thing I saw was just everybody walking up here, just seeing what was going on, and then a lot of SWAT people, big old cars, the FBI, it's crazy.
All right, so that was Bowen. Bowen lives nearby, just about a street or so over. When he heard this, he came outside, heard the explosions again, and then saw all the SWAT activity. As we said, we've been speaking to a lot of people out here who are good enough to kind of describe for us what they heard. Listen now to another witness that talked to us about what he heard.
So the Quartering just tweeted out that a biological female, trans to male, according to witnesses on the scene with ATF and SWAT. Okay. I don't know. I'd like to see more of this witness account. And I am wondering what the hell happened with this person that, wow. And the pressure's supposed to be coming. It's supposed to be coming soon. Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome, man. Thank you for stopping by. What a weird twist. Waiting for this press conference with some updates. I still haven't seen, they said they were going to do it before 5 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. Eastern or before. They still haven't come on yet. Let's see. Take a look at
from the Covenant School where the school shooting happened today. We are still talking to people out here. Metro Police are here. I did ask the officer who is stationed here, and he said all we can tell you is that nobody can go in. We did watch one woman needed to get in. She got an escort just to get to her home. So the people on the street are not going to be walking up to their home anytime soon. A lot of things for us still to gather out here, but for now I'm going to throw it back to you, Marius and Amanda in the studio.
All right, Jeremy, we do want to come back to you because I have a few questions for you, but we do have some breaking news coming into the newsroom right now. The victims have been named in the school shooting, and among them is Catherine Kuntz, the headmistress of the Covenant School.
Yeah, I'll read you this tweet from Metro Nashville Police. The 6 victims fatally shot by the active shooter at Covenant School are identified as Evelyn Dykehouse, Haley Scruggs, and William Kinney, all age 9. Cynthia Peak, age 61, Catherine Kuntz, age 60, and Mike Hill, age 61.
And again, we are seeing a lot of people posting about Catherine Kuntz, the head of the school, at the Covenant School, tributes online, but we were trepidatious about sharing that information. But now that it's been confirmed with Metro Nashville Police, we feel safe sharing that with you. But our just to think, 3 9-year-olds.
Wow.
Killed in that school shooting today, along with 3 adults, including the head of the school, Catherine Kuntz.
It's hard to process. We've gotten a lot of information within the last half hour. We know the shooter's name is Audrey Hale. We know the residents of where the Hale family owned a home, 3005 Brightwood Avenue.
What'd they call that lady? The head of the what? And that makes me think, was she like the head of the school, the head of the Covenant? That makes me think that like targeted. Like it wasn't just like I'm just gonna go in there and shoot random people. Maybe it seems more targeted, like to go get the head of the school or whatever.
He's at the scene where authorities are investigating the home of the suspected shooter, which it appears to be that home based on public records. Jeremy, have you had a chance to talk to neighbors about what they knew about Audrey Hale, who is apparently the suspected shooter in this case?
Yeah, man, it was the first question that I asked. The neighbors, the young men who live here, especially, are probably in their 20s. They rent here. They did not know who she was. There was another gentleman who owned on this street.
No, I didn't say principal.
And he said that they were aware that the family did have a daughter, and that while he was standing here, he heard that a babysitter arrived, or someone that described herself as a babysitter, and this woman was very distraught to hear that the police were at the home of Audrey Hale and her parents. We've been combing through the public records trying to get a little bit more information. It looks like the Hales own, of course, this house. We are told that Audrey lives here. Again, this is if you're just now joining us, this is where police used grenades to get inside the house just after 1:30 this afternoon. But again, that's the kind of questions, Amanda, that I was asking too. What do we know about this family? And as you can see, we're still several houses, about 3 or 4 houses away from the Hales home. So we haven't been able to speak to people who live right next door, just people who live further down the street. And as we all know, the closer you live to people, the more you know them a little bit more. But that's all I'm hearing right now about her.
Jeremy Finley reporting live from the scene at 3005 Brightwood Avenue. Jeremy, thank you so much. We'll be checking back in with you a little later.
We're going to show an image of the head of school, Dr. Catherine Kuntz. This is her. She was the head of the Covenant School for years, looks like since July 2016, so almost 7 years, according to her LinkedIn account. And she is one of the 6 people who was killed at the school today, one of the 6 victims, one of the 3 adults, and we're also learning the names of the 3 children who were killed as well.
Yeah, that information just came in. Evelyn Dykehouse, Haley Scruggs, and William Kinney, all 9-year-olds, were killed in this incident, as well as Cynthia Peak, age 61, Mike Hill, age 61 as well, and of course Catherine Kuntz, the headmistress, there at the Covenant School.
And this is something that will affect a lot of people. I mean, we know that Mrs. Kuntz has been in this community for years. I mean, she went to Vanderbilt University back in 1982, according to her LinkedIn. So this is somebody with deep roots within this community who likely touched many lives.
Thousands of lives.
Yeah.
She's been there a long time and senseless.
Okay, so we are waiting on an update from police. We know that a news conference is going to get underway here at any moment. You can see the setup is underway there, so we're anticipating that this should happen any moment now. As we continue to learn a little bit more, we expect police probably will address the situation that Jeremy has been covering for us on Brightwood Avenue, right there in the 12 South area, where we know the suspected shooter's family owns a home where there has been a lot of police activity. So we anticipate that police are going to kind of connect the dots for us in this news conference.
Yeah, hopefully they can shine a little bit more light on what we know and, like you said, connect some of the dots here. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. We know the parents that own the home were not there when police entered the home. So do police have contact with them? What they know? There's still a lot, like as we said, a lot of questions that are unknown right now at this hour.
And it may be worth going back to Jeremy if that's possible, guys. I'm not sure if he's still available. Okay, he's not. We had seen the amount of officers and authorities standing outside of that home kind of grow within the last hour. And so the question is, are they pulling evidence out of the house? Have we seen them pull anything out of the house? Jeremy has been there kind of watching everything unfold, so he can probably provide a little bit more clarity as the day wears on, if we can touch base with him in a little bit here.
We know it's going to be a massive investigation. We know Metro Police are investigating. We know that the FBI, the TBI, is also investigating. We want to get you out to the press conference that's about to start right now. Let's listen in.
Yes, let's go to the presser.
Starts when I get a timeline when that'll happen. I'll be sure to brief you on it. Okay.
All right. Sounds like they're still working to get that underway, so hasn't quite started yet. But they're going to make sure that we know what the timeline is so that we don't miss any important information. Just to keep you guys up to date at home, what's going on kind of behind the scenes, our entire newsroom is actively working to learn as much as possible about the suspected shooter, about what could potentially be playing out at that home in the 12 South neighborhood where we know there's a lot of police activity, trying to get more information about the suspected shooter. And then also the names of all of the victims have just been released within the last few minutes here. So our entire newsroom is working to learn as much as we can about each of the victims in this case.
Yeah, 6 families their lives have been destroyed. Their lives have been just turned upside down by what happened today. We just want to update you. We know that the shooter, NBC News is reporting that the shooter's name is Audrey Hale. We know that that shooter is 28 years old. We also know that that shooter may have been a student there at the Covenant School.
And we're also hearing from police about how that attack was carried out by the shooter, that she was armed with 2 assault-style rifles and a handgun, made entry through a side door, and immediately started shooting along that first floor. And as she made her way through the school up to the second floor, continued with that shooting spree until she was eventually met by a team of 5 officers who went straight towards the gunfire once they showed up, engaged with that shooter, and delivered those fatal shots. 2 officers opened fire from that small group of 5 who were sent in to stop this. And we know that that happened within 14 minutes of getting the call for help. Police had made entry, found the shooter, and killed her. This, again, is the head of the school, the head of Covenant School.
That's so crazy.
Catherine Kuntz, who we have just learned or confirmed through police is among the 6 victims.
Yeah,
That's what makes me think it's like targeted. If this person killed like the head of the school, the mistress, or the principal. Tracy, thank you for the super chat earlier. Says, crazy we hear about so many driving around, including teens to high school many years ago with guns in gun racks in their trucks. There wasn't so many school/mass shootings, etc. What is going on? The end of the world. Miss Dog Lover, thank you for the super chat. Says, sadly and worrying, will this only fuel violence against the trans community? I don't know. I mean, we're still waiting for like confirmation on that thing. I mean, I don't even know if they're gonna divulge into it or not, but like the internet is going freaking crazy with it. the 6 victims. So as they were saying, Evelyn Lycus, Haley Scruggs, William Kinney, all age 9. Wow, that's crazy. 9 years old. Evelyn, Haley, and William. And then you have Cynthia, 61 years old, Catherine, 60, and Mike Hill, age 61. And I'm surprised the media still hasn't posted a picture to maybe kind of, maybe they're waiting. And the press conference, I guess they're going to need more time. He said that they're waiting on a timeline. So I guess we'll hang around and wait. The other thing too is this other press conference. Yeah, some of the like even Raw Alerts is reporting the same thing. I'm kind of curious to figure it out. I guess we'll have to wait, but I do see that Raw Alerts reporting the same thing. NBC. And then I wonder too. Wow, is that for real, bro? NBC News has not confirmed the Nashville School Shooters Audrey Hale, formerly known as Aiden Hall. Really? Can we get this? I want to see if we can get this NBC article that they're referencing. Let me try the other name. So there was apparently formerly known as Aiden Hale. Let's take a look and see. Aiden Hale. I don't see that on NBC. Let me try with the other name. Audrey. Unconfirmed. Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about this. Let's see. Let's try this. I'd like to see the source of the information. If possible. It seems like nobody posts the source. The link to the source. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why people are saying NBC because I don't see that on NBC. Yeah, I don't know. Guess we'll wait.
At the Covenant School where the shooting unfolded this morning. These are some of those flash bangs going off at the home where public records show her family either lived or at least owned. This is right off Belmont Boulevard in the 12 South area.
Yeah, there's nobody. That's Samantha name that's going around. That's like somebody photoshopped. What are you saying, Leo? Fox News what? Oh, okay, that's their that would be their dead name. I only learned about that terminology recently with all the YouTube drama. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm pretty sure from the things that I'm seeing, I think this is the right person. Again, I'd like to wait for more confirmation, but just from the things that I'm seeing, I just I wonder too, I wonder what drove this person to do that. There's a person. What drove this person to do that? Could it have been something that happened at the school? And I think we can have the conversation, and people don't need to be nasty. I can't pay attention to the chat. I have too many things going on, and And I usually have my chat up on the right side, but that screen's not working. The computer's coming tomorrow. So, but we can have the conversation. Because I was just like wondering, like, I don't know, did something happen in the school? Is it the whole religious aspect to it? If this person really is trans, like, were they that in the school? Did they have issues in the school? Things like that, And then I've never heard of that type of shooter either, which is, so I'm a little curious. And supposedly this person, if this is the correct person, it appears that they made children's books too, which is like just so odd. I don't know. Legacy is saying too that the embassy has identifying the 20-year-old as Nashville shooter Audrey Hale, biological female that identified. I don't know why all these people are not posting a damn link. Where's the fucking link? Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Legacy. Legacy's the bomb. She posted a link. Thank you. I haven't followed her in a while. I mean, like we follow each other, but I haven't really like checked on her stuff. Let me see. Maybe this is the correct one here. Oh, there we go. Well, let's go through this article together. The shooter identified as Audrey Hale, a Nashville resident. 3 law enforcement officials briefed on the matter. There are no answers on Monday afternoon at multiple phone numbers listed for Hale's mother and brother. They're trying to find the family. This still doesn't say anything about, let's see. Unless I'm somehow missing it on this article, I don't see anything about them identifying as whatever. Okay. I'll let the mods read this. I've looked at this 2 times. I see nothing about that at all. So I don't know why this is being referenced as a source. Okay, let's try this one. Let's see. Oh, it's like a video? Let's see.
Authorities in Nashville respond to today's school shooting, which killed 7 people, including the female gunman. 3 law enforcement officials briefed on the matter have identified the deceased shooting suspect as Audrey Hale, a Nashville resident. This is video that fed in just moments ago of the suspect's house. Residents nearby told reporters on the scene that they heard what sounded like flashbangs as they watched authorities enter the home. We noted earlier we are expecting authorities to hold an update potentially this hour. We will bring that to you live.
Before we go, I'd like to take a moment to remember a really
is also here, as well as Chief Swan and District
Okay,
Attorney
started.
Funk.
Okay.
At this time, Mayor John Cooper.
Well, thank you, Don. Laura and I want to express our grief and our city's grief on this unexpected day, this worst day. But let us love each other and support each other and hug each other and pray for each other and pray for our families. But also let us praise our first responders. 14 minutes, I believe under fire, running to gunfire. And then I want to thank the seamless response for federal and state authorities from our police and fire department. So this morning I was in Boston to see my own son's sporting event, and now I am overwhelmed at the thought of the loss of these families, of the future lost by these children and their families. And the leading cause of kids' death now is guns and gunfire, and that is unacceptable. But I want to thank the fast response of our officers. Guns are quick. They don't give you much time. So even in a remarkably fast response, there was not enough time. And those guns stole precious lives from us today in Nashville. And in this dark hour, let us support each other. Let us go and hug our children a little bit closer tonight. And thank you all for being here, and I want to ask Chief Drake to come and give us an update.
Thank you, Mayor Cooper. Again, thank you all for being here. Just an update from today's press conference. We've identified the shooter as Audrey Hale, a 28-year-old female that lived in the Nashville area. We have investigations ongoing now at the residence on Brightwood Avenue. And we have made contact with the father that lived at that residence and are putting together more information. We've also determined there were maps drawn of the school in detail of surveillance, entry points, etc. We know and believe that entry was gained through shooting through one of the doors is how they actually got into the school. I want to take the time to at least say, and I won't say the victims' names, I'll let Don say that, but out of the 6 victims, 3 adults, 3 of those were children. 2 of them were age 9. 1 was 8, about to be 9. All the families have been contacted. The victims' families have been contacted as well. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family. When we send our kids to school or to any place of safety, we expect them to live, learn, have fun, and come back from that day's experience. We don't anticipate things like this. And I want to say thank you to our partners, to Chief Swan, to Glenn Funk, to our mayor for his support, to our federal partners. But also I want to say thank you to our first responders who got there and immediately went in and addressed the threat of someone that had multiple rounds of ammunition, prepared for a confrontation with law enforcement, prepared to do more harm than was actually done, and we were able to stop the threat, and unfortunately 6 victims. So my thoughts and prayers again, but the praise go to the men and women. As I've said before, we will not wait. I was hoping this day would never ever come here in this city, but we would never wait to make entry and to go in and to stop a threat, especially when it deals with our children. So thank you. They're not. Just me, they're not saying anything.
I'm going to go over the victims' names with you now. The 3 9-year-olds who were killed: Evelyn Dickhouse, William Kenny, Hallie Scruggs. 3 adults: Mike Hill, a custodian, age 61, Cynthia Peak, to my understanding a substitute teacher, age 61, and Catherine Kuntz, age 60. As Chief Drake said, we have identified the active shooter as Audrey Elizabeth Hale, age 28. We'll take just a few questions if you have any.
Don, do we believe that she was a former student at the school?
Yes, we do. Chief, you want to address that?
Yes, from our investigations tell us that she was a former student at the school. I don't know what grade she's attended or grades, but we do firmly believe she was a student there.
Did she identify as transgender?
She does identify as transgender, yes.
There you go. Thank you for confirming. I'm glad they addressed that.
I can't give you that information. I wasn't sure. We know that the minute the calls came in, we responded to the church, so to the school.
To the school?
Yeah.
Did you have was there like 2 officers that went in when they first got there? Do you know how many there was when they first interviewed?
So it was 5 officers that immediately went in and addressed. We have video that we're going to release, but you can see in the video, you can hear gunfire going on as they're in the school. They address the threat and take that threat down.
And Chief, what do we know about her weapons?
So we know there were 2 AR-style weapons, one a rifle, another was an AR-style pistol, and the other was a handgun. We believe 2 of those may have been obtained legally, locally here.
Can you confirm that one of the adult victims, Catherine Coops, was head of the school?
Was what?
Was head of the school?
There was some, I don't know her exact capacity within the school, but it was higher up in the echelon.
And were any of the children victims related to any of the school staff?
Unsure. I believe one may have been, but I can't confirm that.
Did the shooter have any criminal history at all?
No history at all.
And no motive at this point? Anything discovered in the apartment or house?
No, we have a manifesto. We have some writings that we're going over that pertain to this date, the actual incident. We have a map drawn out of how this was all going to take place. There's right now a theory of that we may be able to talk about later, but it's not confirmed, and so we'll put that out as soon as we can.
Well, a theory. They even have a theory.
I'm sorry, I knocked someone's mic over. I didn't hear you. Say that again, sir.
Is there any reason to believe that how she identifies has any motive for targeting the school?
We can give you that at a later time.
You see?
There is some theory to that. We're investigating all the leads, and once we know exactly, we'll let you know.
So was this a targeted attack?
It was.
Do we know
Why kids, though?
Gender man or woman?
Don't know any history of mental illness at this time, but we are looking at that as the investigation is ongoing. And I'm sorry.
Did she identify as transgender man or woman?
Woman.
Was this the only school that was targeted?
It was the only school that was targeted. There was another location that was mentioned, but because of a threat assessment by the suspect, too much security, they decided not to. And that area was here in Nashville, so we're continuing with that investigation as well. Right now, we believe it's a lone assailant, and we don't anticipate any further damage at this time, but we're still investigating.
The Brightwood address, she lived there with her parents? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
So the scene is going to be processed throughout the night, probably into tomorrow. This is an extensive scene. As you know, she entered the building, which is one structure. The church and the school are in one building. She entered on the lower floor. There were shots fired on the lower floor before she went to the upper level. And it was on the upper level where she was confronted by police and killed. So understand the scene processing will take place over at least 2 days, today and tomorrow. And we'll have more details for you, including the release of video, perhaps tonight, but if not tonight, certainly tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.
Looks like Metro Police are wrapping up their news conference there, and a couple of things stand out, so we are definitely learning more here. They have identified the shooter as Audrey Hale, a 28-year-old female. They say that they have found in her family home maps indicating entry points to the school, and a manifesto of sorts about what was supposed to unfold, or what did unfold today, and that they do have a working theory on a motive, but they're not yet ready to release that.
They also have video that they're going to release as well.
Video.
He says up to 2 days, maybe tonight, if not at earliest tomorrow morning, they're going to release that video. They also said that it was a lone assailant, just one person with a manifesto that did these crimes.
And they do say that this is a targeted attack. They have made contact with the suspected shooter's father. Apparently, they all live together at this home that we've been bringing you live reports from. Our chief investigator, Jeremy Finley, has been telling us about some of the activity unfolding at that location.
Yeah, let me pull up the
in
picture
the
again,
12
I guess,
South
then.
neighborhood.
We'll do that now.
And so they have made contact with the father who lived at the home. They're hoping that they can learn a little bit more through interviews with the dad. But we've also learned a little bit more about the other adult victims in this case.
Yeah, we know that Mike Hill, 61, was a custodian at the school. We also know that Cynthia Peak, also age 61, was a substitute teacher there, two of the adult victims that passed away.
And then there was, I think 3 9-year-olds. This is why I was trying to have like the conversation. Again, I can't watch the chat. We don't need to be nasty, but I also feel like sometimes when the topic comes up and it's like involves maybe somebody that's trans or whatever, like you're banned and you're not allowed to have that conversation. God forbid. Everybody else we can talk about it. If it's a topic involving somebody that identifies as whatever, then you can't talk. I don't think that's right either. But I don't think people need to be nasty or disgusting about it in the chat either. And the reason why I was saying that I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit because just of the whole potential motive, which when the reporter asked about, could it have something to do with that, like the school and her, the way she identifies or whatever, and like he paused and he's like, we're investigating, but like yes, and then the whole targeting thing, which what I said when we heard that this mistress or the principal, the head of the school was shot and killed, that's when I was like, oh, this must be like a reason. Then take into account too that it's like a Christian school, private school. Like I don't know if this person had some sort of like animosity. Plus, they were a former student, and then again, like I was saying, when they were going to school, that they identify as this or not at the time, or were they ridiculed? I mean, stuff like that. So it's not photoshopped. I already covered that. There's a video. We'll show the actual profile on video. This is already debunked. Okay, this person, they said it in the news. We're not going to go back and have to keep rehashing things. It's already confirmed. All right. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Were they subjugated when they were in school, teased, and whatever the case is, I just still don't understand why shoot and kill kids. I don't even. Let me see if I can find that original post with the website. I think I might actually somebody did DM me the website. I saw somebody on Facebook saying that like I don't know if they're scrubbing the information already off the internet. But honestly, this is something that's common though. A lot of these people that are shooters or whatever, or not shooters, just murderers or whatever, they'll start scrubbing their information off the internet. Let me see. Somebody had sent me something somewhere. Oh, Bebecita, thank you for the links and pictures and stuff. So the website is still up. We looked at the website already. They have an art gallery. That's kind of crazy. I don't understand why go for kids. Why? What? Like, maybe you're having a rage. And this person was plotting and planning, like maps of the school. This was plotted and planned. And you go and kill kids. Nashville Toys and Books portfolio. This is a book, I guess. Audrey, the artist. on a mission to change the world. Wow. Mickey Mouse All-Star. The cat. Wow. So, hmm. Yeah, I don't know, man. Poor kids. And so I guess they're still at the house too. They blew up
More
the door.
importantly, we have eyewitnesses that were here to describe to us exactly what happened. They said about 1:30, they heard what sounded like a flash bomb or a grenade go off at this house. And if you look closely at the door, again from this angle, it isn't great to see, but you can see that the front door of the home was blown apart. Witnesses then tell us that SWAT team members of the FBI, then entered the home. More explosions went off inside. From what we are told from witnesses,
maybe collateral damage. And what Tweet US said in the chat, hold on, I just I lost it, but okay, there it is. Yeah, you were saying why would a former student need maps of the school? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe they wanted a full layout. Maybe they're planning to do more damage. But like, yeah, why need a layout? You should know the school. You're a former student. Yeah, that's for artwork. So all right, here's the plan, guys. So right now we're gonna do this other stream. We're gonna do this other stream. So this next stream is not gonna be long. It's gonna be pretty short because what we're gonna do is we're gonna update Noel Rodriguez. It's a story about this 6-year-old that's like was born premature, really sick, had all these health conditions. This family leaves this kid. We don't know what happened. I don't know if he's alive, he's dead. All we know is this family gets on a flight to Turkey with the 6 siblings. We don't know where this other child is. They were not on the manifesto. They fly off. The mother gave a story about supposedly this kid was with his biological father. We come to find out that's not true. It's false. So we're going to go over to that stream. That stream is not going to be long. I'm thinking like 30 minutes maybe. And then I'm going to take a little break. We will come back tonight. If that video drops tonight and there's more information that comes out, we can come back and do a live or do a short video or something like that. And we'll keep things open. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to just move you guys over right now to the next stream. I think I set it up to move it over to the next stream. The next one will be brief. And then I'll take a little break. And I got a couple things I got to do with the baby. Just chill for a little bit. So I set it up. Okay, so I want to move you guys over to the next